Hey, what's going on, guys? So today we're going to be changing the oil in my 2020 Can-Am Maverick X3. You're supposed to do this 50 hours, especially for the first oil change. I am at 72 hours because I can't seem to stay off the trail. So today we're going to be using the Can-Am engine oil change kit. This is a 5W30, and let's see what they put in here. So right off the bat, looks like we've got a new oil filter for us. Looks to be in good shape. New O-ring for the oil filter housing cover, and then 2 new crush washers for both of the drain bolts, as well as 4 quarts of 5W40. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Got the light set up underneath here. So it might be a little hard to see once we get underneath it, but if you're coming from the passenger side of your machine, the holes in the skid plate you're looking for is actually this first and second large one from the passenger side in. So your drain bolts will be right up underneath that skid plate hole. So as we crawl underneath there, that'll give you a good reference point for where we're going. Okay guys, so now we are underneath the machine looking up through the first skid plate hole closest to the passenger side trailing arm, okay? Up here you're gonna see 2 different bolts. One of them is a 10mm hex head, the other is a 17mm hex head. First we're gonna crack loose the smaller of the 2, the 10mm, there on the right side, right at the tip of my glove. And then we're going to proceed to crack loose the 17mm once we get our oil pan in place. Okay guys, so from the passenger side, we're going to go up under. I found that it's easier just to see from the side as far as the camera is concerned. But where I'm sticking my 10mm socket is going to be through the first hole in the skid plate, the nice big fat oval there. We're going to stick it up through there. And we're going to put it right on the drain plug, and we're going to go ahead and crack that one loose. And now I'm going to switch out to my 17mm. And I'm going to go ahead and crack open the big one as well. Now, with those 2 cracked open, I'm going to go ahead and put a flexible funnel up under there so that I don't have to deal with a giant mess all over the top of my skid plate and on my shop floor. So just give me 1 second and we'll be right back. Alright, so now with my flexible funnel in place, that was only $10 on Amazon. It's supposed to make this quite a bit easier. Okay guys, so I have removed the 10 and the 17mm drain plug bolts from the bottom, and we are draining out. Now once you get to this part, you're gonna want to inspect this metallic or this magnet here in the 17mm drain plug we pulled out, and just make sure there's no metal shavings on it. If there are, definitely take it in and have it looked at by the dealer, because there's probably gonna be some damage going on inside the motor. So we can go ahead and put our new crush washers on both of these and wait for this to drain all the way. So once we've got these cleaned up, we're good to go ahead and just place the new crush washers onto each of the drain plugs while we finish waiting for the oil to drain completely, which it is just about there. Now, it's really important to note, guys, that this larger drain plug, the 17mm, needs to be torqued to 22 foot-pounds, and the smaller of the 2 drain plugs needs to be torqued to 11 foot-pounds. So we're just going to reverse the steps that we did earlier, and now we're going to reinsert the smaller of the 2 drain plugs back into its home. All right, and with that one done, we're good to go ahead and get the 17mm hand tight as well. All right, that just got tightened. So now we're gonna switch over to our torque wrench and get these torqued to spec. Now we are good to go ahead and replace the engine oil filter, which is located right here. And of course, I will move the light for the next shot so we can get a good angle on that. To get to the oil filter, we're going to go directly behind our rear shock, where we will find the cover for our oil filter. There are 3 8mm bolts. They don't take a whole lot to break loose, so you don't have to throw the kitchen sink at it. All right, and then I'm gonna go ahead and take these the rest of the way out by hand. Once you remove all 3 bolts from the oil filter cover, you just gently pull up on it. And it is a little messy under there, so it's a good thing to have your catch pan still handy underneath the machine. But here we see the top of our oil filter itself. You just want to gently get a grip on that and pull it up out of there. If I can get a grip on it, there we go. Now I am interested in inspecting this because this is the first oil change for this 2020, so I want to see if there's too much debris. Obviously we're gonna have a little silicone kind of floating around, some RTV kind of stuff. It looks like what a lot of this is. So there's not a whole lot on there, but there is a fair amount. So with some of this on your glove, it's good to go ahead and come over here to put a little bit of oil just on the rubber neck of your new oil filter before reinstalling this. Once you're good to go with this, we're gonna come right back to where we left off and insert the new oil filter rubber neck down. Once you've got it in there, press firmly to seat it. Next, we're gonna go ahead and wanna replace the cover O-ring. And again, I would keep your glove a little oily so that you can put just a small layer of oil on the new O-ring as well. Seat that all the way down to the bottom, and then just kind of run your finger along the outside edge to make sure that it doesn't pinch or snag being seated back into the machine. Looking at the old one, you can see marks around the outside where it is a very snug fit. So I took a new approach and seated the oil filter into the cover, and now I shall insert this as one unit, but obviously be very careful that we're not smashing the rubber neck on the top. All right guys, and now we're at the driver's side, rear side of the machine, and we're gonna go ahead and add our engine oil back into the machine. You're gonna find your dipstick right in between these two ducts. It's gonna be the yellow top right here. See if I can get my arm fish through here. And you're simply going to rotate counterclockwise to loosen, and once it's fully loose, pull straight up and out, and we can insert our funnel. As with our funnel in place and our engine oil ready, we can now fill our machine back up with 3.7 quarts of Can-Am approved oil. All right guys, with our 3.7 quarts added to the engine, we're good to go ahead and remove our funnel, and of course reinsert our dipstick. There we go. Now we're gonna let the engine run for about a minute, rest for a minute, and then we're gonna check our oil level to make sure that we're good to go. We're gonna go ahead and remove our dipstick, check the level, and be sure that we've got it where we want it. After a quick wipe off, we're gonna stick it in there, fully seat the dipstick, and then immediately remove it so that we can check our engine level. All right, with our oil level verified and a little degreaser sprayed on the drain plugs just to make sure that no more oil is coming out, we are good to go and ready to hit the trails. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe.